Tibetan term Sam refers to totally purified or totally trained mind, because Chang could mean train or to purify. So the mind that is totally trained. In Sutrayana, Bodhichitta is always referring to the motivation for oneself and others to be enlightened. And 99% of the time, when you hear bodhicitta, this is exactly what's referred to, the motivation to fully awaken, not only for oneself, but everyone. And of course, in Mahayana, this is clarified to mean not only may I awaken and others awaken, but this involves an aspiration that myself and others be free from suffering. Bodhicitta is this altruistic intention for freedom from suffering, others, and oneself, and this altruistic intention for awakening for others and oneself. So we could define in English bodhicitta in many ways. I often say enlightened intention. Also, we could say the mind set on enlightenment. But it really has to do with these key concepts of motivation and intention. So, beginning with motivation, I will say in Dzogchen, bodhicitta is understood as the nature of awareness itself, that the awakened state itself is bodhicitta. So, when we experience the motivation to grow, when we wish for others to be free from suffering, when we aspire for our own and others' enlightenment, when we work for the welfare of beings, actually what we're tasting or experiencing is our true nature. So, what are the key elements of understanding what is bodhicitta? There are three. And the first is it's our motivation. This really matters. It matters so intensely that we have a clear motivation to grow, because otherwise, why would you even show up to tonight's teaching? Why did you even persevere in the training at all? If you didn't have a sense of intention driving you. And that motivation provides the fuel to practice. That motivation provides the discipline that we need in order to study Dharma, to study our mind, to look at our mind. It's not always a comfortable thing. So we have to have some kind of burning desire, because sometimes when we study Dharma, we don't just get pats on the back and kind of affirmation that we're number one and we should have everything we want and the whole world is about you, right? Sometimes we see our own confusion, or we see karmic patterns, or we see the suffering of ourselves and others. And that discipline to bear witness we see, it doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from a clear motivation in us, and that's bodhicitta. We are motivated to keep seeing that, to grow, to awaken. And maybe that motivation comes from the flavor that we've tasted of meeting beings who inspire us, or hearing the stories of the Buddha. Or maybe that inspiration comes from suffering, that we don't want to suffer anymore. But for whatever reason, bodhicitta is this motivation to continue to study and continue to practice.